Hello, what's up guys? You're welcome back to the channel again. In this video I'll be teaching chords, so I don't want to waste much of your time. Let's dive into business. Make sure you're to the end, okay? So now just note we have different types of chord in music or in the keyboard in general, okay? And I want you to know that chords, let's group two chord in two categories, okay? And that's what I call the first category is the triad chord, and the second is the two notes chord. So the triad chord is, I can call it three notes chord, while the two notes chord, just that's the name, that's the dual chord. I can call it the dual chords, okay? So we have the triad, which is the three note chord, and the dual chord, which is the two note chord, okay? Okay, before we start, I should have introduced you to chords. So what is chord? When you hear the term chords in the piano, what does it mean? Remember, these are notes on the keyboard, okay? If I say to play a note, these are notes or keys. We call them notes or keys, okay? Just one, playing one distinct note, okay? But if I say to play in a chord is simply playing more than one note at the same time. Note that word at the same time, simultaneously. Not this. If I'm playing this, I'm still playing notes because I strike one at a point. But when I strike more than one, it is a chord, okay? When I strike more than one at the same time, not striking this distinctly is what we call arpeggio, but it's not for this video, okay? But when you strike it at the same time, what we call chord. Striking more than once could be in any format. These are chords, okay? Okay, so as simple as that. So now moving to the first category of chord, which I call the triad chord, okay? There are different types of chord under this. We have the major, we have the minor, we have the diminished, we have the augmented, we have the suspended chords, that's the sus2 and the sus4 and the sus4 chords, okay? So these are the types of the triad chord we have under this, okay? So now let's start. The first type of triad chord is what I would call the major chord, okay? So remember, all these keys on the keyboard, all of them, we can build their respective chord just as scale, okay? Just the way we can build their scale, we can also build their chord. So for instance, if I want to build C major chord, there's a formula for it, which is, you can see it in two ways, in two perspectives. The first way, you can see it in the formula form, that is roots plus 4 semitones plus three semitones. Remember, semitone is literally one note, just one note. So if I want to build C major scale, what I'm going to do, the first thing, I place my hand on that key, just as scale, okay? Remember, if you want to build scale, we place our hand on the key, then we build. So for chords, you place your hand on that key you want to build, then you build your chord, okay? So the formula is roots plus what? 4 plus 3, okay? So I place my hand on the key I want to build the chord of, that's C, and this becomes my roots. So roots plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 semitones plus what? 3 semitones, 1, 2, 3. So I've gotten 3 notes. 3 notes come together to form my C major chord, which is a triad chord, okay? That's why it's a triad chord. So you can play it in the higher octave, anywhere is C or C triad chord, okay? So if I want to build my F triad chord, what I'll just do, I place my hand on F first, and this makes it my roots, then add 4 semitones and 3 semitones. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? 1, 2, 3. This is my F major chord, okay? If I want to build G sharp major chord, I place my hand on G sharp, then count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've gotten 2 notes, then remain 1, 2, 3. So these are the 3 notes. This is my G major chord, okay? So that's all about major chords. Now move to the next chord. From perspective in which you can see the major chord is that instead of using the formula roots plus 3 plus whatever, you can just remember, knowing your major scales have 7 degrees, okay? That's your C major scale is this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, there's also formula to build this. You can check my other videos if you missed them, okay? So you can just see it in this perspective. To get a major chord of any key, all you need to do is you need the roots plus the 3rd degree of that major scale plus the 5th degree. So roots plus 3rd plus 5th. So this is my C major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? So I'm picking the 1 plus 1, 2. Sorry, this is 1. That's my roots, 2, 3, okay, and 4, 5. That's the 1st, 3rd, and 5th notes in your major scale or degree of the major scale, okay? So you can use this, or you can use just simply roots plus 4 plus 3. So now moving to the minor, what you need to do, just flat the 3rd, okay? So if this is my C major scale and this is my 3rd, I'm just going to flat it, okay? that's reducing by a tone, and this is your minor C minor chord. Okay, if this is my F major chord, flatten the third, my F minor chord. If you don't use it in this perspective, you can use it in this perspective. That's the formula aspect. So the formula for building your minor chord is simply root plus 3 semitones plus 4 third semitones. That's, if this is my roots, that's C major, that's my key C. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, okay, plus 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my C minor chord, okay? Or you can just say if this is my C major, I flat this, okay? So any aspect of this, of that. So your minor chord is simply your first, your flat third, and your fifth of any major scale, okay? Now moving to the next type of chord, your diminished chord, okay? Your diminished chord is simply, you can use the formula root plus 3 semitones plus 3 semitones, okay? So if I want to build G, let's use D. If I want to build D diminished chord, all I'm going to do, I place my hand on that key, that's D, and start. And this is my roots, then plus 3 semitones, 1, 2, 3. So I've gotten 2 notes plus 3 also, 1, 2, 3. So this is my G diminished chord, okay? Or you can see it in this perspective. Once you get your major chord, when you flat the third and flat the fifth, it's your diminished chord. So if this is my D major and I flat the third and flat the fifth of the scale, this is your diminished chord. That's your first flat third and flat fifth. So if this is my C major chord and I flat the third and I flat the fifth, this is my C diminished chord, okay? Remember, you can also do this C roots plus 1, 2, 3 plus 1, 2, 3 with the formula for diminished chord. You can see it in any of the perspective, okay, depending on what is convenient for you. So that's all about diminished chord. The next type of chord is what we call augmented chord, okay? So augmented chord, how you build it is simply roots plus 4 semitones plus 4 semitones. So if this is my key C, I just had 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is my C augmented chord, okay? Okay, this is my F, but I'm adding 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my F augmented chord, okay? So that's just how it is for any key, okay? Or you can see it in this perspective. If you've gotten your major scale, all you need to do is just root plus third plus sharp fifth. Remember, this is your fifth, sharpen the fifth of that scale. This is your augmented chord. So if this is my F major scale, that's this. Okay, so this is my first, my third in the scale, and this is my fifth. This is my F major. So flatten, sharpen the fifths, that increasing it by a tone, by a semitone. This is my F augmented chord, okay? So that's all about augmented chord. Now the next is sus2, or we call it suspended chords, okay? That's under the suspended chord, we have the sus2 and the sus4. Okay, so the sus2, how we get it is very, very simple. It's simply using the first, second, and fifth degree of a major scale. So if this is my C major scale, for instance, and I want to build my C sus2 chord, all I just need is my fourth degree, second, and fifth. Okay, so this is my 1, 2, okay, this is 3, 4, 5. This is my C sus2 chord. Okay, so knowing the scale is going to help you to get the chord. So that's why scale and chord are very, very important. So when you know the scale, you just pick your first, second, and fifth, and this is your C suspended chord. Or to make it very easy, once you've got your major chord, you just pick up the next notes. That is your second notes, okay, of that scale. Okay, so if this is my F major chord, my sus2 is simply this. If this is my G major chord, my sus2 is simply this. Sus2 sustaining the second note of that major chord. Okay, so now sus4 is simply just the kind of opposite of sus2. So instead of, maybe this is my C, instead of sustaining the second of the scale, I'm holding the fourths as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is my C sus4. Okay, this is my F major, this is my F sus2, and this is my F sus4. Sorry, this, not this. Remember, this is the first, this is the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and I'm holding my first, fourth, and fifth of the scale. This is my F sus4. Okay, so if you are kind of confused with this scale I'm running through, you can check my other videos on scale. I explained everything there, and it's very important before coming to chord, because chords are made from scale. Okay, the notes we are adding together to form chords are built or gotten from the scale of that key. So it's very, very important to note about that. the power chord. So power chord is simply the formula is simply root plus 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, 7 plus 1 2 3 4 5. Power chord is simply roots plus adding 7 semitones plus 5 semitones of any key. Okay, so this is C power chord. Okay, this is F power chord. This is F. I hold my F, count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, and 1 2 3 4 5. So this is your power chord, F power chord. Okay, or you can see it in this perspective, just holding a key or a particular note, holding the 5th degree of that key, and holding that same key in the next octave upward. Okay, so these two terminal notes are the same, but this is just the 5th degree. So each is F, the root plus the 5th. This is the 5th degree of F and F power chord. Okay, so that's all about that. So back to the dual chords. Under this category, we have third, 5th, third, 5th, and octave chord. Okay, so thirds, to get thirds are simply just playing the first. Okay, there's a formula for it, that root plus 4 semitones. Okay, so if this is my, I want to play my C third chord, what I just do, I hold C, count 1 2 3 4 semitones simply. So this is called thirds. Okay, and why it's really called third, because this is your C major scale, right? You can see it from this perspective. This is my C major scale, and I'm holding the first and the third note in my C major scale. That's the actual reason why it's called a third. Okay, that's why it's called a third. But you can also see it in another perspective, that is adding 1 2 3 4 semitones. But I think it's best to see it in this perspective, just using the scale, the degrees of the scale. That's the first and the third degree of C major scale. Okay, that's a third. So this is F third chord. Why I'm holding the first and third degree of the scale of F major scale. Okay, this is my F sharp major scale. That's my 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Back to my 1. So this is my 1, 2nd, and 3rd degree of the scale. So holding my first and my third, this is my F third chord. Okay, that's all about thirds. So now I move to 5th. So 5th, I'm just going to make this very, very simple. 5th, once you've gotten your major chord or your minor chord, just remove the middle notes, and that's your 5th. So if this is C major chord and I remove this middle notes, this is my 5th. Why I'm only holding my roots and my 5th notes in the scale. So this is my 5th. Okay, so if, for instance, if it's in C sharp, my C sharp major chord, removing the third, we're left with the 5th. So this is what we call 5th chord, because this is the 1st and 5th degree of the scale that you're holding, of that scale, of that particular key. Okay, so that's all about 5th. The last tip I'll give you is octave chord. Octave is simply, the formula is simply roots plus 12 semitones. So if this is roots and I had, so that's simply my octave chord. Roots plus adding 12 notes or 12 semitones. So if this is my C, I had 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Back to my C. So to make it simple, you're just holding a note and that same note in the next octave. Okay, so this is C, going to the next octave, this is C. So if I play these notes together, this is my octave chord, C and C. So if I'm playing D octave chord, it's going to be like this, D and D. E octave chord, E E. F octave chord, G octave chord, and A octave chord, B octave chord, back to C octave chord, G sharp octave chord, this, because I'm holding G sharp and G sharp. But in the real sense, in between these two notes, we can add 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 semitones. So you can see it in both perspectives. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope this video was very helpful to you. If you still have any question or you don't still understand something, you can just let me know in the comment section. Okay, and I promise to attend to them all. Okay, so just follow these tips. You can either use the formula part, that's the root plus whatever semitone plus another semitone, or depending on how the formula is. So you can either use the formula version or using the scale or degrees version. So any one of them works best. Okay, so that's all about that. If it was helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share my video, and God bless you.